what do you think about white schools having financial plans and teaching them how to use money, and then we have these high schools in the city that don't have time to teach about financial and growing stocks and all that type of stuff for us black kids?
I just feel like it's easy. I finally had the opportunity because, to be honest with you, when I was young, because I grew up poor,
Hmm.
so me being young, I literally was like, how in the hell do all these white people continuously come into this world, get older, all get the same job opportunities, all
Exactly.
drive the same type of cars when they turn 16,
Hmm.
all go to prom, get the experience, right? All get to have these nice houses. And it's just like, what the hell is the catch? So let me tell you this. I ended up spending time out in Fairport. I ended up living out in Fairport with um my ex, and we had a home out there, and
Hmm.
we that's just where we was. And I was able to analyze for some years on um how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just to see how people literally get up by their day. So they're starting out here in these suburbs by 4:30, 5 a.m. This is when their day is starting.
Hmm.
All right, so there's 24 hours in a day. So,
Exactly.
me growing up when I was poor, I remember like my day won't start until like 11.
Hmm.
11 a.m., maybe 12. I'm getting up like, yes, the day is starting. So,
Exactly.
how many hours from that point at 5 a.m. is that? You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
people don't be understanding time. But anyway, my apologies, guys. We got one person coming in. I had to reply back to their text. But back to what I was
Hmm.
saying, like, it's a whole different world out there. People are happy, right? People go out and they keep their windows open, right?
Yeah.
They wake up in the morning, they wave at each other, they go down to the end of their driveway, get their newspaper. They're just everything is great, right? Their houses is spaced out.
Yeah.
Imagine living and you got space,
Hmm.
right? Imagine living in the ghettos and every house is just on top of each other. And you
Exactly.
ain't got no type of privacy, you ain't got no
No
type of
type of
space,
nothing.
right? So imagine when you poor and you struggling and you want to have some type of fun but you can't because all you basically see is that if you raise your music to a certain level, somebody calling on you. If you have too many people at your house, somebody calling on you, right?
Hmm.
If your kids get too loud, somebody go think that they getting their ass beat too bad where they calling on you,
Hmm.
right? Than just being in these suburbs where houses is spaced out. You actually can enjoy your time outside your house in your backyard without feeling like there's any issues or problems, right? You
Hmm.
get to have that space out in just the different distances and stuff where you can
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
You could just do all different types of things that you just won't be able to get that opportunity when you're being out in the city and in the hoods. And it's the same with back to your question about schools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the difference between how parents literally in the suburbs pay for their school education. So
Hmm.
it's just taken a certain way. Also, every single suburban area usually have maybe two schools tops if we're talking about high schools
Yeah.
outside of elementary schools. So basically what we're talking about is you have people out here who all go to one school. Literally,
Yeah.
you're born in a place. You go from one school to the middle school, from the middle school to the high school. You graduate, you go to your different colleges and different things like that.
Hmm.
And then you come back home, and now you're the judges. You are the police officers out in these areas, right?
That's a
You
fact.
are the mail people in these areas. You know what I mean? You are
Hmm.
the fire people in these areas. You are the ones who are the owners of these bars.
That's a
So
fact.
imagine having literally a culture in a village out here where you're so comfortable, where I can drive through a suburban area and know if I get pulled over, that's just Uncle John because that's my dad's friend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine that,
That's crazy.
right?
Yeah.
So, and you can just drive, you can go other places and you go to court, right? And it's just a slap on the wrist or something is getting thrown out. Now, this is something that I have witnessed, right?
Hmm.
Being out and going to Victor Court, right? Where literally it's just like, all right, we're just going to throw this out. Are you going to just pay the little? All right, we're going to throw this out. Throwing them out like it's nothing
Yeah.
when it comes to their own people. And that's the difference between how they are keeping things in these suburbs on lock and protected and how it's so hard back in these cities. Because how many schools is within these cities? The
It's
city is only so big, and how many schools do we have in it? Let
yeah,
alone buildings, let alone how many schools inside those buildings,
yeah. It'd be like three schools inside one.
right?
Yeah.
So we got all these kids who are struggling, poor, dealing with things, got stress issues, don't know where their next meal going to come from, all having to be in one school
Mhm.
with only a certain amount of teachers who don't come from where they come from. So when it comes to the patient's level, there is no way that you can comprehend them or understand them.
Exactly.
So you're naturally going to say, okay, this person has a problem. It's a problem that I don't know nothing about because my kids, my cousins, my family members never act like this around me.
Mhm.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is think disciplinary. Let me ship him off to whatever disciplinary system this is, and let me continue to try to teach the class. So it's just a whole bunch of teachers coming from a different area, coming to teach kids that are not like them. And it's the same with the police system coming in, not like them. Judges coming in, not like them. So imagine if we had a community where everybody that was in our own community that was serving to the community was people who we grew up with, knew, lived by, or had some type of relationship with. Do you think that maybe things would be a lot more respected, right?
Mhm.
Do you think people would probably get along a lot better because they look at each other more as family? You
Exactly.
know, but it's so hard when you're struggling
Yeah.
to even care to try to bond or connect with
I was
anybody
just about to
else,
say that.
right?
Yeah.
So by the time you can get out to your neighbor house on your street to go say hello, how are you? You arguing because they didn't parked in the wrong spot on your house. So that's the first time you about to meet this person. Now you want to bust them upside their head because they didn't
Word.
did something that you don't like,
That's a
right?
fact.
When the first thing these people do out here in the suburbs is right,
Mhm.
we see the gifts, we see welcome, right? We
Yeah.
setting the atmosphere right. Hey, hello, my windows are always going to be open. Yours are going to be open. You can look at any time, right? You can look at any time, and if you ever want to come over, you
Mhm.
can. And these people just live great, but to not be so off point or to joke about it, it's a real thing, sis,
Mhm.
and it's very toxic.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very toxic. Like, and that's what I mean. When you're struggling, you don't have the money, you barely can have fun. You know, you have to find a way to look like you're somebody and you're doing something because it's so much stuff that's against you. So
Yeah.
this is why the only thing we have to do for each other, the only thing we got